I am sure at this point you understand working capital management is one of the key success drivers for a company. It plays a vital role in the long run because, if managed well, it allows companies to free up capital and invest in strategic initiatives. It becomes even more important at times of economic crisis, high interest rates, and lack of financing opportunities. In practice, we have to be careful because it is easy to forget the importance of working capital, given that it doesn't show up in a firm's P&L. But it has a direct impact on a company's profitability. There are several ways in which working capital improvements could impact our financials. Working capital optimizations result in enhanced customer service and higher client satisfaction, resulting in improved client loyalty. Reductions in spend for raw materials, reduction of raw materials obsolescence, reduced warehousing and distribution costs. We'll also spend less on OPEX due to lower transaction processing costs and increased standardization and automation. Hence, optimizing working capital processes is a must for top companies. A study conducted in 2015 showed that there's a huge opportunity for working capital improvement among the top 1,000 US and top 1,000 EU companies. The study found out that the top performing companies used half of the working capital used by the rest of the firms. So, obviously, there is a lot that can be done to improve the situation in most firms, even among top companies. Our goal in this lesson would be to offer you a holistic roadmap, which can be used every time when you have to approach the topic of working capital optimization. First off, when we have to deal with an issue like this, a careful assessment of the firm's current working capital position is highly recommended. We have to ask questions like, are there consistent late payers? Are there inventory components that are not necessary in our warehouse? Which is the main reason why we pay some suppliers so early? And a lot more. Metrics like working capital days, days receivable, days payable, and days inventory are really useful at this stage, as they can serve as a red flag, identifying areas that need improvement. Once we have assessed the situation, we can proceed by developing management reports and dashboards to track and monitor the development of several KPIs across the company. This will give us even more information on what needs to be done. Right, and once we've figured out what needs to be done, it is time to create an action plan. That's phase number 3. All divisions and reporting units should create an actionable and measurable plan identifying the improvements they will aim to achieve and the deadline by which such improvements should be accomplished. It is key to align executive compensation and working capital efficiencies obtained by their team. That's another tool that can play an important role throughout the execution phase. Step number 4 is probably the most important one. It consists in getting on board the company's CEO and CFO. Actually, they have to be on board since the very beginning, but this is where their support for the project will play a major role. If the entire organization focuses on working capital improvements, and this becomes a topic of extensive discussion at board meetings and presentations where important company executives hear this firsthand, then the chances of the whole initiative improve dramatically. Top-level executives will understand that working capital improvements have the sponsorship of the firm's CEO and CFO, and will therefore gladly educate their subordinates. At the very beginning, we should identify some low-hanging fruits and focus on them in an effort to achieve a few quick wins, which will validate the importance of the entire project and will motivate employees in their pursuit of additional efficiencies. Optimizing working capital is a continuous effort that requires plenty of attention down the road. The finance managers who are ultimately responsible for it have to find a way to monitor several KPIs and determine whether there are still areas that need improvement. Okay, excellent. At the end of this lesson, we can reiterate one very important message. Whenever a company undertakes a large project for working capital improvements, The most important variable determining whether the project will be successful or not is the sponsorship by the firm's top management team, CEO, CFO, and vice presidents.